Are you ready to turn heads? Luxury isn't just worn, it's experienced. Introducing A'laila Carroll style and new up-and-coming designer collection where exclusive shoes and bags for men and women meets your feet. How about you take a handbag and wear it in style, where each piece is personally designed by A'laila Carroll herself and handcrafted from the finest material in Italy. Leather, smooth like butter, bold, timeless, distinctly you. Step into true elegance and make your mark with A'laila Carroll style, where confidence meets craftsmanship. Visit A'laila Carroll style and experience the luxury of art that you wear. Welcome back to Improving Your Thoughts by Freeing Yourself. I'm your host, A'laila Carroll. You made it to the final episode in this peace series, and today's topic is one that hits deep. It's betrayal blindness, when you can't see what's hurting you. This episode is for anyone who's ever said to themselves, I should have seen the signs, or how could I've not known? How could I have not known? Well, we've all been there. So don't think that you are alone, because you're not. Maybe you've been betrayed by a partner, a parent, a friend, a leader, someone who's an authority, or even a system, something that was put in place that was made for you to fail. And you've wondered, or you're wondering, how you miss the red flags. And it should have been obvious to you, right? But for some reason, it seemed obvious to you now, but it wasn't obvious to you then. That is called betrayal blindness. Today, we're going to explore what betrayal blindness really is. Why do our minds protect us from the truth? How to recognize when we've caught it or we're caught in it, and how to begin to wake up safely, gently, and powerfully. So, take a deep breath. This one's going to be honest, healing, and freeing. Let's get into it, you guys. So first we're going to talk about what is betrayal blindness. The term betrayal blindness was first coined by psychiatrist Jennifer Freyd. It describes the unconscious awareness people develop to avoid recognizing betrayal, especially when acknowledging it would threaten your sense of safety or belonging. Think of it this way. Okay? When a person you depend on, or a person that you have been trusting for a long time, someone that you've been friends with, or anyone that is dear to you, emotionally, financially, or even physically, you are dependent on this person. When they betray you, your brain goes into self-protection mode automatically. It tells you, this can't be true. We need this person. We can't survive if we admit what really is happening. So you ignore the signs. You realize their betrayal but you start rationalizing it. Instead, you rationalize their behavior. You blame yourself instead of them, knowing that they are the one at fault. But you rather take the blame on yourself. And that right there is called betrayal blindness. It's not stupidity, it's survival. Now, the quote that Dr. Frey have said, she said, in her words, quote unquote, sometimes we need to stay blind to betrayal just to stay alive. Well, my quote, me, A'laila, I say that blindness help us cope, but it also keep us stuck. Because when we refuse to see the truth, we end up protecting our betrayer instead of ourselves. That's what I say. So think about it now. Think about it. So I want to tell you a personal story. You know, I always like to tell my stories. And of course, it's what this series is really about. It's what this podcast is about, for me to share some stories with you while I am also coaching you to give you some insight on me or who's talking to you, but also let you know that I'm human just like you are and we all go through it, okay? So let me tell you a story about a time when I was betrayed, when I had a betrayal blindness. Yes, I have had several of these before. Because I am loyal at fault. I am the type of person that when I like you and I decide to open up to you, then I trust you. And I trust you to the point where I let you show me that you're no longer worthy to be trusted. Because when that happens, I don't be with you no more. I don't be around you no more. I don't fool with you no more. I just cut you off. I'm that person, right? Unless we are someone that can't not be completely apart for whatever reason. Usually maybe because you're a family member and I'm going to have to see you again. But that's different. But a person who I don't have to see again, oh well, bye-bye. So there was somebody in my life, someone I trusted, who consistently made me feel like I was too sensitive or too emotional or just too much. I don't know why, because I'm really quiet and I usually stay reserved to myself. But when I do have something to say, oh, I let it out. If I feel a certain kind of way, I'm not going to just hold it in. I'm going to get it out. Whenever my intuition was whispering something is off, I silence it. Why? Because I wanted to believe in who I thought they were more than who they really were. Because facing the truth meant admitting that I invested time, love, and loyalty into someone who didn't value me. I had to face the reality. It wasn't until I was physically exhausted and emotionally numb when I realized I wasn't crazy. I was just deeply conditioned to ignore my pain. That moment of awareness, it was painful, but it was way more powerful when I realized enough was enough. I had to take a stand. Because the second I stopped denying reality, I started reclaiming myself. We have to understand that it comes a time in our lives where, especially when you're grown and you're an adult, you have to take responsibility for yourself. No one else is going to be responsible for your needs and your wants, your desires, and especially your happiness. No one else is going to be responsible for that but you. And if you're around someone or you have someone in your life that you are loyal to and this person is showing you that they're not loyal back to you, you need to reevaluate that situation. So, why do we stay blind? Because that's the problem that I've noticed in a lot of adults. Children, okay, that's a different story. They don't really know life like that. They're still learning life. But adults, you've been around long enough to realize that something just not natural with that. So why do we stay blind? Let's talk about the psychology behind it. There are three main reasons, and one reason is dependency. So this is the reason why you need to learn how to take care of yourself, because when you start depending on people, you find yourself allowing them to do whatever they want to do to you. And you will, let me give you some example first off. I've been watching this series about P. Diddy, Sean Puffy Combs that they got on Netflix. Just came out, and it's going into the in depths of his personality and the things that he's been doing and what he's done. So when I watch this, it's really mind-blowing to me, because not that I don't believe it, it's mind-blowing because I recognize it. I recognize it because I dealt with people in a way like that. No, they was not billionaires and millionaires, but they still had that narcissistic personality that he has. And I remember this one time, this guy that I just started seeing this guy. We met online. I can't remember exactly what social media that we met on, but I do remember meeting him online. And he didn't live here in Houston. He didn't live in Houston. He lived somewhere else. And he came to visit, and I remember him wanting to meet up with me. So I met up with him at Twin Peaks at this, this bar, restaurant, actually. It was a restaurant slash bar, and it's just like Hooters. So we met up there with him and a friend of his and another female. So it was like a double date. And it was on a Sunday. I would never forget, because I got off from church and went to go meet up with this guy. And I remember everything was normal. It was a normal date, and I thought it went well, and it was cool. And when it was over with, that was it. I went on home and minded my business. Well, we continued to talk over the phone, and he was coming back and forth to Houston and everything, and I will go meet up with him. And I remember this one time I met up with him at his friend's house. Same guy who was on a double date with, at his friend's house, because they was throwing this party or whatever. And I said, okay, cool, I'm going to come and I'm going to go to the party with them and everything. But I noticed that when I got to this house, I didn't feel quite comfortable. I was like I wasn't nervous. I just felt like I shouldn't have been there. I felt like I didn't belong. And it wasn't nothing right off the back that was completely weird. It was more of the vibe that I was getting. Like, this is not no normal party, you know? And he said it was a game, game party where you watch the game and everything, football game or whatever. And I was like, okay, cool. This one of those kind of parties. I've been to several one of those. That's fine. And this time I brought a friend with me. I wasn't alone and everything, but I still felt like I wasn't supposed to be there. And if it dawned on me why I wasn't supposed to be there, because, well, like I said, I'm quiet. I'm always listening more than I'm talking. So I overheard him and the same guy that we double dated with. I overheard him and that guy talking about me, and they was talking about me and I guess another girl and someone else. I don't know who the other people they was talking about, but I heard them say, hey, when this party is over, try to see if you can get them to stay. See if you can get her to stay and the other girl to stay. And I don't know who she has with her, but she's going to have to take her home. See if you can get her to come back or something like that. And I'm just listening, and I can hear the guy that I was supposed to be there for saying, I don't think she's going to go for this dude. I don't think that she's that type of girl. And I was thinking, like, what type of girl is he talking about? And I'm not dumb nor naive, so I put two and two together that, oh, they must think that there's going to be some freaky deaky stuff going on after this party or something. Oh, no, that ain't going down. So I remember acting like I was looking for the bathroom because they was in the hallway talking. That's how I overheard them, because I was basically looking around, and I wasn't snooping at anything. I was just looking around the house, and I was like, this is a nice house. And I was just looking around the living room, the kitchen, and the common areas. And they would just happen to be in the hallway, and I say, hey, can I go to the restroom? Where is it at? And they're like, oh, it's right there. And so I'm thinking to myself, I gotta go. We gotta get out of here. And I want to leave before the party is over. So I made my duty to leave before the party was over with, and that's what I did. Well, the next day, when I was talking to the guy, I remember coming home from work, and I was sitting in my driveway. I hadn't gotten out of the car yet, and he was talking to me about his desires, what he wanted to do, and what type of person he really was. And he asked me, have I seen any of his pictures? Because he had sent me some pictures or whatever. And I said, yeah, I seen your pictures. He said, what do you think of them? I say, they just normal pictures, except for I'm not really used to guys who have nipple piercing and stuff like that. And he was like, well, I got piercing in more places than that. And I was thinking like, oh, so now we're finna take it there. There's finna be a sex conversation. And it did get to that conversation. He started talking about sex. And I was thinking to myself, this guy really think that he is going to get what he want out of me. So I need to tell him straight up, I'm not that kind of girl. So he already said it though. I don't think she's that kind of girl. He already said it. So here you go, trying to pull something out of me that isn't there. So he ended up asking me, he said, have you ever had a threesome before? I said, no, I have never had a threesome before. And then he's like, would you ever want to have one? I say, no, I don't find the need to want to do something like that. I don't desire those type of things. And then he was like, well, I just feel like you'll probably be good at it. Good at it? What you mean good at it? He's like, no, I'm just telling you. He said, I am a swinger. I don't know if I told you, but I'm a swinger. I do swing, and I'm not in a relationship with nobody, but I'm looking for someone who I can do that with. And I was telling him, I said, I'm going to just be honest with you. I heard you talking to your friend about me, and you mentioned that I'm not that type of girl. You don't think that I'm that type of girl. You were so spot on. I am not that kind of girl. I don't do swinging. You're like the fourth person that approached me with this. What is it on me that make you people think that that's what I'm about? And he was like, well, the thing is that I read your first book. And so if anybody know, I wrote a book called The Entertainment of Eroticism. And it's nothing but just fantasies. It's a story about fantasies. It's a story about dreams and having all types of fantasies in a dream. And he took it as if that's what he thought he was going to get out of me. And I said, man, that's just entertainment. That's the reason why it's called the entertainment of eroticism. It's just entertainment. I don't do any of those things. I just literally wrote that out because I felt the need to write. And that was my first time ever writing a book. So I wanted to write something freaky. And that's what I did. I would prefer to write about it than actually to participate in that. And so he was like, I kind of picked up on that when we had our conversations. When we would talk and we would have our conversations, I picked up on that you wasn't that way. But hey, it don't hurt to try. And I was like, well, yeah, you're right. It don't hurt to try, but now you know. So he was like, well, I was just wondering if you was up to going out of town with me. And I started thinking, like, why in the world would I go out of town with you? You put me in a spot where I'm stuck and almost like to the point where I have to do what you want me to do. So I was like, nah, I'm not finna put myself in no dependency situation where I'm depending on you to get me back home we're not going to do that. So I told him no. And he was like, well, you won't be by yourself. It won't just be you. It's me and a group of people. And I was like, who are these people? Because I don't know any of them. All I know is just you, and I'm just barely knowing you. And I don't think it's a good idea. So for the next hour of the conversation, he tried to change the subject and talk about normal conversation, but I was already uncomfortable at that point. And I realized that we ain't gonna fit. And he noticed that too, and he said it by the time we was getting off the phone. He said, I think we should just end it right here. And I said, yeah, you are so correct. I definitely agree. And he's like, because you're not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a real freak. I thought you was a freak because of what you wrote in your book. I just had you wrong. So I'm gonna let you go, and you have a good life. And I was like, cool, because I was gonna ghost you anyway after this conversation. So you did me a favor. So just to let you guys know, if you depend on someone financially, emotionally, any kind of way that you are dependent on them, your mind might suppress awareness of their behavior to keep you safe. So be careful with that. It's not that you are stupid or dumb. No, it's none of that. All it is that it's your nervous system saying, don't rock the boat. That's all that is. So number 2 is fear of abandonment. A lot of people suffer from this, especially if you have been abandoned by your parents in any kind of way. If betrayal means losing love or connection, your inner child steps in and says, pretend you don't see that. Pretend you don't see that. You'll find yourself pretending you are not seeing what you know that you are seeing. You've been wired to keep the peace, not to face pain. That's what's going on with you there. And then number 3 is cognitive distancing. This is the mental discomfort of holding two conflicting truth. He loves me versus he's lying to me. Or she loves me versus she's lying to me. To reduce that tension, you chooses the other version that is lesser than the hurt, which is he loves me, even if it's not real. That's what you do. You choose the one that is going to bring you less pain. And for many of us, especially for those who've experienced trauma or even narcissistic abuse, betrayal blindness become a pattern, not a one-time thing. But here's the truth. I want to help you out. Here's the healing truth. You need to heal from this, or you're going to constantly repeat these patterns throughout your entire life. You can't heal what you won't look at. You got to look at it. And you can't grow if you're pretending someone is not destroying you. Yeah, come on now. You can't protect anyone who's actually destroying you by pretending that it's not happening. Now, I remember this friend. I think I probably mentioned this before. I remember having this friend. She was a lesbian, and I say was because she's married to a man now. But at that particular time, she was all in lesbian or whatever. And her and her girlfriend lived together. And I remember her coming to me asking me questions about certain things. She had found a bunch of information that her girlfriend was cheating on her. and she wanted me to give her some advice. Like I told you guys, I've been coaching people for years, especially when it's dealing with relationships and them learning to find their life purpose and those type of things. Do what make you happy, it brings you joy, but also you can get paid for it. Oh, I've been doing this for years. This is nothing new for me. So this was back in 2007 when she was asking me this question, and I remember trying to give her some sound advice to help this girl out. We was working together at Hewlett Packard, all three of us, and I would go and pick her up from work and bring her to work with me because she didn't have a car, and her girlfriend worked on a different shift than we did. They didn't work on the same shift, so they worked on what you call, we had 3 shifts. We had the morning shift, the sundown shift, I think this was called sundown, in the middle, and then we have the night shift, the midnight shift, where you work until 6 in the morning. Well, we worked that night shift and her girlfriend worked that mid shift. So we would actually see each other as we are passing to get off work. And she saw her girlfriend that night as we was leaving. She had already asked me what I think she should do. I told her, if you're not ready to face the truth about what is going on and you're not ready to end this relationship that you have with her, or you're not ready for what is going to take place, don't say anything at all until you have prepared yourself to make the move. And if you haven't prepared yourself and you're not ready to go and find another place to live or move out or her move out and you got to pay all the bills, if you're not ready for that, then shut up. Don't say nothing at all, because you are in a spot where you are not equipped to take care of yourself by yourself. If that's the case, I wouldn't be driving you to work. So she was like, okay, you're right. I'm going to shut. I'm not going to say nothing. I said, I'm not telling you to stay in this relationship and deal with the abuse. I'm telling you to prepare yourself so you can leave safely. And not only leave safely, you can leave without losing anything. You have your money. And at the time, she had a son. She did have a son. So yeah, she had been with a man before her. So she had a son. I'm like, think about your son too. He's going to be affected by this as well. You literally are cohabitating with somebody. Think about this. So I'm telling you, I kid you not. Soon we got to work. She saw that her girlfriend, and she saw the girl that she knew that she was cheating with because they work on the same shift, and she walked up to that girl, smacked her down to the ground, and started beating that girl up right there on the spot. And I had already walked away, so I didn't even stick around. I'm like, I have bills to pay. I will not allow myself to lose my job behind somebody else's mess. So I end up going on the floor and getting myself set up to start working, and people was like talking about it, and they was like, they walked her out, she lost her job. And I'm thinking like, this is stupid. We just had this conversation. She lost her job behind some girl that her girlfriend was having sex with or whatever, and now she don't even have nothing. That's crazy. So sometimes you have to be prepared before you confront somebody. Be prepared to have yourself together before you decide to make a move or speak up or say something. Don't just automatically just be doing things, because when you do that, you're going to end up hurting yourself more than you are helping yourself. Just some heads up, okay? So let's talk about some signs that you are in a betrayal blindness situation. I want to talk about a few of these signs, okay? So let's break down these signs. You might be experiencing this right now at this moment. Number 1, you make excuses for someone's harmful behavior. Or that's you? Are you doing that? Are you making excuses for anyone? I don't care who they are. They're hurting you, but you're making excuses for their behavior. Okay, how about this? Number 2. You downplay your own hurt to keep the peace. Now, I have done that. I sure have. And then when I spoke up on it, they tried to gaslight me, acting like it wasn't a big deal, like I was tripping. So, is that you, though? Are you doing that? Are you downplaying your own hurt just to keep the peace? Number 3, you feel confused after every conversation, like you've or not knowing what's going on. Basically, they're gaslighting you. They're making you feel that you're tripping. Like your reality just isn't lining up. Is that you? What about number 4? You're afraid to ask questions because you don't want the answer. You know what the answers are already. You just don't want them to say the truth. Have you ever been in a situation where you ask someone a question, but you expecting them to lie to you, but instead they tell you the truth? So I remember a situation where it wasn't me that this was done to. It was someone else that this was done to. But I do remember it because I was like, this person doesn't even realize that he's actually been honest. So there was a person that I knew that asked the question like, "Are you cheating on me?" And the person said, "Yeah, I do it all the time." And they was like, "Stop playing. Stop playing, man. Stop playing, boy. You playing." Not knowing that they was actually being honest. They were cheating on her, and he did do it all the time. So when they found out that he was actually telling the truth, they was hurt. I'm like, "What you hurt for? He told you the truth. You just didn't want to believe it." So is that you? Are you one of those type of people? You're afraid to ask the question, knowing you know the answer. So what about this one, number 5? You feel guilty for thinking something is wrong. You feel guilty for thinking that something is wrong. No, that is your intuition. You're discerning the truth. Don't feel guilty, okay? So what about this one here? You keep hoping their change. This is one of the biggest problems that a lot of people have. If this person haven't changed by now, they're not going to change until something tragically happened to make them change. Even after a long pattern of lies and neglect, you are still hoping that they're going to change. They are not going to change, okay? Come on now. If you recognize any of this in yourself, don't judge it. Don't judge it. Don't do that. I want you to just recognize it as a survival strategy that helped you once. That's what it was doing. It was helping you. But now it's time to outgrow it. It's time to outgrow. It's time to get over it and move past it and get it together. Okay? I want to do some affirmations with you. I want you to repeat this after me. So repeat these words after me. I am no longer afraid to see the truth. I am no longer afraid to see the truth. I am safe to trust my own eyes, my own mind, and my own heart. Okay, let's repeat that again. I am no longer afraid to see the truth. I am safe to trust my own eyes, my own mind, and my own heart. You have to be able to trust yourself, because if you don't, you're going to always be believing the other person, even though you're going to know they're lying to you. I want you to let all that settle in for a moment, because that's where freedom begins. When you're able to do this, your freedom will start beginning and growing inside of you. I want you to know that you can heal from betrayal blindness. I know I have, and I know you can. Healing from betrayal blindness is like learning to see in the dark. At first, everything looks blurry. You're unsure what is real, but slowly your vision adjusts and you start seeing clearly again. So here's how you can begin. I want to teach you how to begin to heal from betrayal blindness. I want to help you with this. So first, what you're going to do, you're going to acknowledge the truth without judgment. That's why I was saying earlier, don't judge it. You know that you've done those things. Don't go judging yourself behind it. Don't be like, oh, I'm stupid. Why did I let this happen? Oh, I'm a fool. I'm an idiot. Don't do that to yourself because you're none of those things. So don't do that to yourself. So first, all you need to do is just acknowledge the truth without judgment. And then you're going to say out loud to yourself, I want to be happy. All right? And this is what's gonna happen inside of you. You're gonna say, I want to be happy. This is what happened. That's all. All the things that happened to me, it's just what happened. Don't justify it. Don't rationalize with it. Just name it. Whatever happened is just what happened. So now you have already acknowledged it. Now, the second thing you're going to do is rebuild trust with yourself. Okay? You don't miss any signs. Don't care about it. Don't worry about it. Just understand that the signs was there. You saw it. You just was ignoring it. You did not miss any signs. Not at all. All you was doing was protecting yourself at that time. Now it's time to protect yourself in a new way with awareness because you're aware of what's going on. And then the third thing you're going to do is find safe support. You got to find someone who can help you to sort all this stuff out, all right? You can do a therapist, trauma-informed coaches, somebody who's specialized with trauma, a coach. Coaches are cheaper than therapists. That's why I always throw that in there. And then you know they're not that expensive. Or even a survivor community, someone who's been through what you've been through in a group. You can go through a group setting. So you can do a survivor community that can help you process without the shame. That usually help a lot of people too. Because you don't need to go through this alone. And the fourth thing that you need to do is don't rush forgiveness. Don't be trying to rush it, okay? Forgiveness is not about pretending it didn't happen. It's about feeling free in your heart by freeing yourself. There you go. By freeing yourself when you're ready. Because when you're not ready, you're forcing it. Don't do that. Don't do that. And then the fifth thing you need to do is to reclaim your intuition, because your intuition has been telling you all this time what you already knew. What you were seeing was actually right, but you was ignoring it because you was choosing to. But now you have to trust your intuition. Your body always know. It's built to survive. So it always sends out signals and stuff like that to you. Now it's time for you to start listening to it again. If you never listened to it before, it's time for you to start listening to it, okay? And I want you to know that when grief hits, because it will, remember, you're not mourning the loss of the person. You're mourning the loss of the illusion that you had about that person. Even though the person might seem to have been so wonderful and so great, no, you're just mourning the loss of the illusion that you have about that person. So I hope that helped. I really do. So it's been a while since I've done questions and everything. Haven't had any that came through lately, but this time I have had some. That's the reason for this particular episode. That's why I said we have a bonus episode. This what this is, 14. It's a bonus episode because I've been getting these questions, and this is the questions that I have, and I want to read them out, and I want to also answer them while I am on this podcast. So let's get started. Okay. These questions I have received these from the listeners, and about betrayal and all this stuff, and they was confused about what they should do about their relationship, and it reminded me of the story I just told you about the girl who asked what she should do about what she found out her girlfriend was cheating. Should she confront it? And I told her no, and let's make sure you get yourself together because you're not ready for what's going to take place next. And she ended up slapping the girlfriend's girlfriend, and losing her job, and it was a lot of stuff that went down. So that's what made me decide to do this episode, because it just ring back some memories of me. I say ring, like ringing the bell. Okay. So question number 1 is, how do I stop feeling stupid for not seeing the truth sooner? I'm not laughing at you. I'm just was thinking in my mind about something. So just let you know, I'm not laughing at you. Okay. So how do you stop feeling stupid? First off, you should not feel stupid, because you're not stupid. You were just loyal to the person. I know what that's like, because I'm loyal by default. Like, I start off that way, and then I start dwindling down to not being so loyal when I find out that you're not trustworthy. But for you, I would say your heart was just trying to protect you from breaking before you were ready. Some people can't handle being broken like that. That's when you get a lot of people who flip out and do some crazy stuff. So you was doing what is normal, which is protecting your heart. But now that you see, I want you to give yourself grace. Wisdom doesn't come before the lesson. It comes after the lesson, okay? So now that you already got your lesson, your wisdom should kick in. You learn from this situation. So when you go into a new relationship, you go in that relationship with your eyes wide open, not gullible and not naive. Leave the naives out. I hope that helped. Okay, so let's go to question number 2. Question number 2 says, what if the person who betrayed me is someone I still have to see, like a co-parent or a family member? I told you I have some situations where I had to see some people still. Well, I have this thing about me. If I gotta keep seeing you, I'm gonna watch. Okay. Put it like that. If we gotta keep seeing each other after you betrayed me, I'm gonna make you watch me glow up. Do you hear me? I'm gonna make you watch me shine. You gonna watch me in all my glory, and you gonna wish you ain't done the things that you did, because you'll never get the chance to do me like that again. That's what I would do. Now, let me just go ahead and say to you, you don't have to adopt that attitude, but that's what I do. I want you to set psychological distance before physical distance. That would be the best thing to do. Get your mind right. Think about what you want to do first in your mind. I mean, really get your mind right. Let's not feel like they are superior in a way where you're ashamed to be around this person or anything. No, you make them see you in a better light. And you make them see you strong. Never show your weakness in front of them. If you want to cry by yourself when nobody else is around to see your weakness, and go back and tell, okay? You want to get your strength up, get your mind right, get some counseling, those type of things. that is where you will be able to engage with this person without feeling like this person have gotten the best of you. So you want to emotionally detach. That's what you want to do. Emotionally detach from them. Gray rocking is something that is a boundary that you want to try to stay away from. I don't know if I really helped you that much, and that's with that one. But what I want to do is give you the opportunity to start thinking about yourself. Get your mind right. That's what you want to do. Start focusing on you and making sure that you are psychologically ready to be around them. And if you have to be around them too soon and you're not mentally ready, it will probably be good. Let's say, for instance, if this happened to be a person that you are co-parenting with, if you can get a third person involved, like your parents or someone, and have that person come and pick your child up from their house and drop your child off at their house, just so you don't have to see this person for a while, then maybe try it that way until you're able to start stunning on that person when they see you again, and you got yourself together and they like, dang, person's different. Now they can't sit there and gloat or anything like that because they're making you feel bad when they see you. Okay? I hope that helped. So let's go to question number 3. Question number 3 says, I'm scared to trust anybody again. How do I rebuild that? First, it starts with yourself. You got to start by trusting yourself. That's the only way you'll be able to trust anybody. If you don't trust yourself, you can't trust no one. Because that's the reason why you're in the situation you're in at first. Because you didn't trust your intuition when your intuition was telling you something about that person or about the situation. When you rebuild self-trust, you naturally attract people who align with your healing energy, okay? Trusting others will start building itself all over again. Slowly, please take your time. Slowly, you will start trusting in someone else, but trust yourself first, because you will be able to say, hey, I know I trust what I feel and what I want and what I'm discerning right now about this person, whether it's good or bad. Then you can go from that. And trusting others with trusting that you have for yourself will help you to start being more safe. I hope that helped. So I want to go ahead and close this with some reflections. Okay, let's go ahead and do some reflection. I want you to think about some moments in your life where you had betrayal blindness. And I want you to understand that betrayal blindness is not weakness. It's a trauma response that sounds like it could be a weakness, but it's not. What it really say is that I wasn't ready to see what was breaking me. You just wasn't ready. That's all that is. But now I am ready, okay? And that's what it actually says once you realize what you was actually dealing with. I want you to know that you are strong enough to see and to feel and to heal. It's time. You don't want to stay stuck in this cycle, all right? I don't want you to stay stuck. So I want you to repeat this after me. I'm going to give you another affirmation. I want you to say this to yourself. I see clearly now. I honor my truth. I protect my peace, and I choose myself. I'm going to repeat that for you. You can say it again. I see clearly now. I honor my truth. I protect my peace, and I choose myself. You have to start choosing yourself first so you can grow and for you to heal. All right. So if this episode spoke to you, I want you to share it with someone who really needs to wake up, okay, from the fog of denial that they're in and step into their own power. And also, I want to invite you to visit my website, imagingcoaching.com, to join the support group. I have support groups on there as well. Also, I have courses to help you heal from narcissistic relationships and to reclaim your peace back. And I gotta say it, I want you to follow this podcast. I want you to download this episode or send it to someone who can download it that needs it as well. And don't forget to follow the podcast, please. Improving your thoughts by freeing yourself. All right. And I want you to continue to grow, to live, to be happy, to be free. And if you want more episodes on this, continue to go through all the rest of my podcast episodes and series as well as other seasons. And I'm really sure that you're going to find something that you can enjoy and that will really help you. So I want to also tell you, next season, which is season 9, I'm going to be doing another series, and that series is going to be on finding your life purpose. How to find your life purpose. How do you know that you're living in your life purpose, and what to do when you are not living in your life purpose so you can live in your life purpose. I want you to start living on purpose. Okay? I have a book that's called Live on Purpose, and it's a course. I also have a course for it. So it's in the website as well, in the programs, and imagingcoaching.com. Go to /programs, and you will be able to take the course and find out what you are actually supposed to be doing with your life. What are you here for? Why are you existing instead of living? What is it in this life you're supposed to be doing? And if you don't know that, well, tune into the next season, which starts next year in a few weeks, and you get the opportunity to start figuring that out. Maybe you're already living in your purpose, and you feel like that there should be a little bit more going on with you. Well, you'll be able to find that out as well. Are you living in your purpose and this is all you're supposed to be doing? Or are you living in your purpose and there's more for you to do? I always say to people, if you still got breath in your body, then you have more things to do. If you're still living and breathing, then there's still more for you to do. Even if you're just lying there, there's something, and I say lying there, I'm talking about even if you're just lying in the bed, you being there is teaching those around you why they are supposed to live their life by looking at you. Something inside of them to say, man, I can be in that position. I need to do something with my life. You didn't really do anything. It's just your existence that did something. And your condition that did something for that person, which made you live in your life purpose for that moment. It sounds kind of funny and weird, I know, but still, I'll give you a good example before I let you go. So my husband, his mother is 91 years old. Her birthday is the same day as mine. We share the same birthday, April 7th. And she have Alzheimer's. And, well, people say Alzheimer's, but I say Alzheimer's because I see the Z and I just say this use the Z. Anyways, so she has Alzheimer's. And she be forgetting, like, in within 3 minutes, she forgets what was said. And she repeat herself. But my husband is like, my mom is going to be living till she's 100. She's going to be ticking. She's just going to live. And I said, why you say that? He said, because it's like every time I go around her, she's just so alert and just so, and I said, well, the thing is, sometimes they be alert like that and then they just gone like that the next day. I said, so don't be so wrapped up in time and how long she's going to have. I said, what it is that she's still here for a purpose. And we don't know what that purpose is, but she's still here for a purpose. And what I've noticed about her is that when my son comes around her, she pretty much get all her intellect back. Where if she don't have Alzheimer's when he's around, her mind, she's sharp and everything. And I said, well, maybe her purpose now is for her to help us with our son, because she's an ex-school teacher. She used to teach English and everything, and she helps him with his grammar. She helps him with his spelling, with his reading. She's been helping him with doing puzzles and everything's dealing with words. She's been helping him with that. And I said, wow. I said, she's still helping. She's still doing. And you would think that by this time, with things that's going on with her, because I experienced this with my own grandparents, my grandmother and my grandfather, my mom's, both of her parents. One of them had dementia, another one had Alzheimer's. They both the same to me, except for one is more advanced than the other. And when they went fast, And that was one of the things that I said, well, her purpose is still being lived. So that's what I meant by that. So that's the example I was trying to give. So anyways, I want to go ahead and let you go. So signing out, A'laila. Until next time. Are you feeling overwhelmed and exhausted by stress? Introducing Stress Management with Imaging Coaching, your ticket to a calmer, more balanced life. In this journey you will be taken with us here at Imaging Coaching. We'll equip you with powerful techniques and tools you can use to conquer stress, regain control, and transform your life. From deep breathing exercises to mindfulness practices, you'll discover the tools to relax your mind and body. Come join us on this transformative path and unlock a world of inner peace and resilience. Don't let stress hold you back any longer. Take charge of your well-being today with Imaging Coaching, your stress management team. Discover clarity. Defeat stress through Imaging Coaching at imagingcoaching.com, at imagingcoaching.com, at imagingcoaching.com, at imagingcoaching.com.